What's up, everybody? My name's Parasite. Welcome back to the Jose Mourinho Challenge with Sporting. Today we face Bayern Munich in the Champions League first knockout round first leg and Benfica in the league. Two big games. We want to get past this knockout round because we got to the semis last year. I want to do as least as good this year. Obviously it's going to depend on who we get, but I looked at Bayern's team. I think we can beat it. Benfica, also going to be a big match. They're currently top of the league, but we have a game in hand over them, so we still have the advantage. But that would change if we lose today. We've reached the end of the transfer window, and we end up doing a little bit of business. Just one sale and one signing to replace him. Not something I planned on doing, but he'd been a little unsettled, wasn't getting the game time he wanted, and we didn't really trust him. So, you know what? Once a bid came in, I looked in the market to see if I could replace him, because I really wasn't willing to let him go unless I could replace him. And I found a better player for cheaper. So, we decided to move on. The player that's left is Sebastian Casares. He's gone to West Ham for $17 million. Obviously, he was pretty important for us for his first 2 years here, being a starter in a team that won the league twice in a row, won the Europa Conference League, got to a quarterfinal of the Champions League. But he always seemed to be kind of the player that was the worst performer on the team. In the league, he had decent numbers, but in Europe, we won the Europa Conference League, and he still only played a 6.92. And we got to a quarterfinal of the Champions League, and he played a 6.69. So we replaced him, and he's just kind of fallen out of favor. And he was unhappy. We got some pretty good money for him. And we replaced him with Ethan Ampadu, $8.75 million from Basel. This is one of the best Ethan Ampadus I've really seen in this game. He's developed very well. He's got some very good mentals, highlighted by that 16 anticipation and 16 composure. Obviously, he's a much better passer than Casares was. And defensively, he's just as good. 15 marking, tackling, and positioning. Physically, he's good. He's a little bit taller, a little bit better jumping reach. And yeah, all of his physicals are pretty much just as good. Strength and acceleration maybe a little bit lower, but to counter that, he has really good agility and balance and just some amazing mentals. And on top of that, he's more versatile. He can play anywhere down the spine, could be a very good option at defensive midfield. So yeah, I think it's just a deal that made so much sense. Basically half the price that we sold Casares for. Only on $34K a week. Deal until 2030. I'm happy with Ethan Ampadu. He's played for Basel the last 2 years. They got him for $4 million. First season didn't have the best year. This most recent one, he was pretty good. So we'll see how he does for us. I think he can be good. I think he can be our number 3 center back next year. If Romagnoli doesn't come back, I didn't trust Casares. We'll see over the course of the season whether he's going to be good enough, but I feel like I'm going to be able to trust Ethan Ampadu. The results recently have been pretty good as well, barring one kind of annoying one. Before we get there, actually, I also did a little bit more business. I signed another regen. I have a problem. Is just on compensation, $650K. Uruguayan from Nacional, goalkeeper, solid, just future, option for the future. Very poor consistency and injury problems, but if that's still the case and he develops, I can just sell him on. That's kind of what my plan is with this guy. He's so cheap. If we don't sell him on for a profit, we're not out much. We've also got 2 players leaving on freeze. One we kind of anticipated. The other surprised me. First one to leave was Reuben Aguilar. He's gone to Sociedad on the end of contract. 32 years old. He's still really good. His physicals are starting to drop off a little bit, though, at 32 years old. So it's not the worst thing that could happen, but his performances in all competitions have been really good for us. Like Champions League, or Europa Conference League first year, 7.11. And then Champions League, 6.76. So not the best year, first year in the Champions League, but last year 7.15. This year 7.1 so far. So he's been a really good player, but he wasn't willing to negotiate. He wanted to leave, and so he left. What I'm surprised about though is Reuben Aguilar. We had agreed a contract with him, so he had to choose basically between us and a couple other clubs, and ultimately he chose Fenerbahce, which really surprised me. He's going to be a starter there, and he's not going to be one here, but he was still getting a fair amount of game time, and he's never going to, as long as he's at Fenerbahce, he's never going to play at the same kind of level we're playing at. Our league is obviously much better, and we're reaching knockouts of the Champions League. Fenerbahce aren't going to do that. So, and the money was even pretty similar. So I just don't understand that for Reuben Aguilar. And we've already pretty much replaced him. We've replaced him actually in-house. We had an option with Portuguese left back. I just had the name. Rafael Guerreiro. He had moved to Tottenham, basically the first season of this save, and he was available in a free, but he was 32 years old. His physicals were already not very good, and they were only going to get worse over the course of the contract. and he wanted a lot of money, $70K a week. Ultimately, I just couldn't pay that for a backup, especially knowing I was going to have to get a good starting right back with Aguilar going. So we decided to actually replace him in-house. The player we've signed to replace him, or decided to replace him with, is a player that kind of fallen out of favor a little bit for us at midfield. Daniel Braganca. We've got some better midfielders, so he's just kind of not played as much as maybe he or I'd like. But I want to keep him here. He's homegrown at club, and he's a pretty good left back, actually. He's played it a little bit. He's done well there. Pace isn't amazing, but neither was Reuben Aguilar's. We've had some success retraining midfielders to left backs, and I think he could have success too. Obviously, a really good passer, good tackling, the best tackling of any left back we've ever had, and technicals in the areas that he needs them, crossing, dribbling, really good. Mental's obviously amazing. The only thing that holds him back really is his physicals, but I think he'll be all right. He's done well there, and I think he's going to be a decent backup left back for us. Back to the results now. They've been pretty good, barring one annoying game. We started off against Famalicão in the Liga Portugal. A little bit of rotation, and we smashed them 4-0. Gil Vicente is the annoying match. We absolutely dominated it, but we just couldn't score, and we missed a penalty. So we end up drawing 0-0. It hurts to drop points in the league because Benfica aren't slipping up very often. So we've kept it going since then, though, and played well. Santa Clara, 3-0. Sorloth and Sesko with the goals. Vizela, 3-0. Aguilar and Romagnoli with a brace. We then played in the Allianz Cup, and we won it for the second consecutive year. It took penalties in both games. First, we played Porto, ended up being 0-0, but Sorloth missed another penalty, and then missed the penalty in the penalty shootout. So he is no longer our primary penalty taker. Like last year, I don't think he missed one, and he's missed 3 in a week. So yeah, he's gone. But we end up winning it on penalties, and then Guimaraes, we won it on penalties as well. We had a sending off in the 76th minute, but it was 1-1 at that point, so obviously we weren't really going to score again probably. But after 90 minutes, it goes straight to penalties. DK missed, but they missed too. And so we won the Allianz Cup again. Since then, we played Ferenc, won 3-0. Sorloth with a brace, Aguilar with a goal. Actually scored a penalty this game. We didn't have any other penalty takers on the pitch, so he ended up taking it, and he scored it. Chavez, 5-1, and it was 5-1 at halftime. It was 5-0 until stoppage time of halftime. Sesko got 4. He got a 10 rating, and he was subbed off at halftime. Dominating performance. And he kept it going against Moritz. A brace. And I think we might have subbed him off at halftime again. We were 3-1 up at that point, ended up winning 4-1. So we're scoring goals still, for the most part. Like these Allianz Cup games, we rotated a little bit for him. Gil Vicente, I think we still played a pretty strong squad. Sorloth played next to Sesko, actually. So that was just kind of annoying, but other than that, we've been scoring goals. We've been playing well. Hopefully we can keep that going against Bayern Munich. The team we've got for it is a little bit rotation because we actually have quite a few suspensions. Obviously, we had 2 sending offs in the last match against Manchester United. So Tabata's out, Sorloth's out, Palhinha's out, and Aguilar's out, and Gonzalez is injured. So we've had to do a lot of shuffling, especially in the midfield. Esgaio comes in at right back. I've gone with Romagnoli and Inacio at center back. Reuben Johannes at left back. Novicic obviously in goal. Dyer comes in. Sensi plays next to Nunez, which I think is just great. Santos starts, which he's never been that good in Europe, so not super excited about that, but we literally just don't have any other options. So he's going to start, and we're going with DK and Sesko up top with Tomas on the bench. Still a strong squad. Still good enough to get something today, and we kind of need to. I want a decent lead before we have to go to Germany, because it's not going to be easy there. So 2-3 goal advantage, and I'd feel all right. Hopefully we can do it. I think we need to show everyone that their recent praise is justified. Put on a real show out there. We've been playing really well, but Bayern are a different beast. They're one of the best teams in Europe. But with what we've accomplished over the past 2 years, so are we. Let's go get a good result today. Don't give ourselves everything to do away in Munich in a hostile environment. How do you approach this match with both teams in good form ahead of kickoff? We're going to have to be at our very best to get something today. Bayern Munich are as good as they come and will certainly be able to cause us 1 or 2 problems. How do we look to build on an impressive performance last time out against Moritz? It's all about momentum. The more we can put together these sorts of performances, the better. Do you think the first goal here would be crucial? It's nice to start well. If we can get on the front foot nice and early, all the better. An early goal would be very nice. So our form, 2 draws, 3 wins. A little worried about the strength of our squad, but if we're ever going to be missing players to suspension, this is the game to be doing it at home. They've got Esposito up top. I mean, that's a good team. Muller in midfield. That's interesting. That's a good team, but I think it's beatable. I think it's definitely beatable. Wagnerman, they're starting right back. They throw in to lead. Their first highlight is going to be 1 minute in, and it's going to start with Bayern Munich from a throw in. Going to play it down this right-hand side. Sané is probably the danger man. He's probably the best player on their team right now. Still young, in his prime, and just world-class. But we've got some really good center backs and some really good fullbacks. Defensively, Reuben Aguilar might be in a little bit of trouble, but offensively, he's a stud. Santos can't quite put that shot in from that kind of distance, though, but I don't really expect him to. He hasn't really shown that in his career. About 14 minutes in, really cagey affair so far. We're going to start with the highlight, though. Bergman Johannesson down this left-hand side, playing with him and DK. Looks for Sesko in the box, and it gets through, but he hits it wide. He got to be putting that in the back of the net. At least getting it on target. Looks like we're going to halftime 0-0. Neither team's really done much. We don't have a single shot on target. So we've not been good enough. We've had a pretty good chance, too. That chance, I'm assuming it's this one. That chance for Sesko was far too good to completely miss the target. Frustrating to not have an advantage and to not play particularly well. Like, this is a match we should be winning. I'm just going to say, this is a match we should be winning. Bayern Munich are good, but there are still a lot of better teams in this competition. And if we can't do well at home against Bayern, it's a little worrying. We simply have to be better in front of goal. At least start to hit the target more often. We've not created a whole lot, definitely less than I'd like. But we've had a few decent looks at goal, and we've not troubled the goalkeeper at all. When you're playing some of Europe's best, you simply can't do that. Corner, about a minute into the second half. Nuno Santos, back post. All right, something I'm going to change. I did it against Liverpool, and it seemed to work. I'm going to play for set pieces. We've got Sesko and DK up top. Romagnoli and Inacio have some size to him as well. So, I mean, we're not creating, outside of set pieces, so maybe we can get a good set piece to get a goal. I mean, I don't have many other options right now. This attack's going to start with Bayern Munich. They're first of the half. Wagman in a lot of space. Need to get back. Isaac Johannesson. Actually, it's Nunez getting back to defend him. Puts in a ball. Good catch by Novistich. Now we're going to launch a counterattack. We love these long balls from goal kicks. DK is going to look to win it. He does. Sesko gets it, but he's going to have to go wide. Has a lot to do here, but he's got men in the box. A good tackle by Hernandez. He's still got it, though. Bergman Johannesson. Going to look to go down this left-hand side. We've got Sorloth in the box now as an option. Nunez got not a good pass. He tries for Nuno Santos. The easier pass Dyer was on. He just chose not to go for it. We win it back, though. Now, since he has a chance to maybe put a ball in, he does. DK! Of course it's Daryl DK. Of course it is. Big moment DK. He scores a goal, gives us the lead. 51 minutes in, we haven't had the best start to the half, but we've been the better team so far. Cincy, and it was actually DK that passed the ball to Cincy, and he returns the favor. Who's this? Hernandez does not do well letting that get past him. And DK makes him pay. Good finish. You have to finish those chances. And we did, finally. 70 minutes in. I need to make some changes. I kind of want to take off Dyer, but I also want to take off Escaio. If he gets a yellow card, he's suspended for the next leg. And I don't really want that to happen. And he's tired, and he's been the worst performer on the pitch. So, my only backup right back right now on the bench is Estevez. So, I don't really want to bring him on, the youngster. I'd rather play Dyer on a yellow card at right back and bring on probably Ampadu in defensive midfield. What role do I play him as? He can do basically anything. I think his best might be halfback, but I'm not sure if that's the best for where we're currently playing. I think halfbacks are typically better in a possession system. So I could play him as a ball winner. Could play him as I'm thinking I'm just playing defensive midfielder defend. I think that's a solid role for him. Lets him do. He's good at everything, so it lets him pass. It lets him defend. Lets him run around a little bit. So I think that's what I'm going to do. Nunez on a yellow, not playing well as well. But my options in midfield off the bench aren't great. I think I am going to bring on Ugarte, though. Since he's going to move over to that playmaker, Ugarte is going to come on as a Mazzala. Actually, I'm going to switch him around again because Ugarte on this left-hand side plays box-to-box. And I think that's actually going to be useful. So we'll make those two changes. I'm still going to play for set pieces because it might waste time a little bit. I'm not going to start wasting time because I want to score again. 1 goal advantage is all nice, but a 2 goal advantage is obviously much better. So I don't think I'm going to change the way we play at all. It's got us a goal. We've played fairly well doing it. So why change it? All right, no highlights still. 84th minute. I'm not totally against no highlights, but I still really want to score another. Kind of unsurprisingly, Nuno Santos has not been good. that might be an area we look to improve next year. Backup attacking midfielder. Tabata's great, but Nunez has just never showed up in Europe. Last sub though. I mean, strikers are both playing well. They're both exhausted, but I mean, Tomas, fresh legs off the bench, that pace, that might be the option. I also consider taking off Reuben Johannesson. He's tired and on a yellow and playing okay, but Vinagre's not fully fit either, so I'm not sure if that's the right call either. I do think I'm going to bring on Tomas. I think he can be kind of a game changer. Fresh legs off the bench. Sesko's obviously great, but DK's got the goal, playing a little bit better. So I'm going to bring on Tomas as that pressing forward. Actually, I'm going to play him in advance forward. I think advance forward with what I want him to do right now. Press on that back line, look to get in behind. I'm going to take off hit early crosses because DK's not the tallest, 6'2". Definitely not as good in the air as Sesko or Sorloth, and Tomas obviously not good in the air at all. So I'm going to stop playing for set pieces as well, but passing the space, definitely. I think it could be really good with Tomas up there. Counter press. I'm not going to look to ship it over the defense just yet, even though a knock on by DK might be good. I don't want to keep giving the ball back if we don't win those headers, and even if you tell them to aim for DK, usually it seems like they don't. So I don't think I'm going to change anything tactic-wise. Let's just go out, see if we can get another. If not, just hold on to this lead. 1 goal advantage will be okay. I don't want them to score, though. Looks like we're going to get, one highlight in the second half? 1-0 is the final in Portugal. It was a very even match. Crazily even. We had one more clear-cut chance. We also had one more goal. So, kind of makes sense. Possession-wise went to them. We always knew that was going to be the case. But shots, we had more. Less shots than target, but we had the better chance. 2 blocks for each. Neither team hit the woodwork. Yeah, very even match. A little bit too even for me. I'd like us to control the match a little bit better at home. It leaves me a little bit worried away from home what kind of performance we'll see in Munich. But, we've got an advantage. That's at the minimum, that's what I wanted. I didn't really want it to be a draw. I especially didn't want to lose. But I was hoping to be ahead by a little bit more. I'll take that. It's always good to get a result when not playing as well as we know we can. But Bayern are going to be okay with that result too. They're still going to feel confident, only down a goal, returning to Germany. But it suits us as well. We've proven we're a good defensive unit. But we do need to put in better performances in that second leg. Morale seems really high right now. How far can it take you? If we can build on these good times, I'll be very happy. Good morale is so important. You got the victory today despite only having 36% possession. Was that part of your game plan to allow Bayern Munich to have the majority of the ball and then look to catch them on the counterattack? Possession's overrated. What did they do with the ball? Nothing is the answer. The other legs, Roma beat Real Madrid 1-0. That's kind of surprising. We don't know who the rest of them are, but if Roma can get over Real Madrid, I will take that. Doubtful that holds, though. Let's see. Berlin, dude, everyone wants everyone on our team. Reuben Johannesson actually had some pretty big bids, but he's just recently signed a new deal. He's here for a long term, and he's probably the best left back we can get, so I'm very happy to keep him here. I've got one game in between. I think, Braga in the league. The game we really need to win if we're going to keep pace with Benfica. If we lose that, and we lose against Benfica, we're already in a pretty big hole. And it's away against Benfica, so that match is going to be very difficult. But I'll play Braga, and I'll see you for Benfica. And we are back to play Benfica. We played Braga in between, kind of needed to win, and we did. 2-0, Sorloth and Sesko getting the goals, and it was pretty convincing. They didn't really do anything. I think did they even have a shot on target? For a while, they didn't. They did have 2 in the end, but 3 shots, 2 on target compared to 26 and 8. So we were a little bit better. We even had the possession advantage. So, yeah, it was a pretty dominant performance. I'd like to see more than 2 goals probably, but it's fine. We got a good win. Can't be too unhappy about that. Got the clean sheet. But now it's going to be a much tougher test. Benfica are very good, and it's away from home. They played and won their game as well. 2-1 win. They've actually had another game in between. We haven't had a game. We had a decent break, so we were actually able to play our full first team. And they're playing Copenhagen in the first knockout round. Of course, they get freaking lucky and get Copenhagen. Literally the easiest team in the knockouts. But they actually drew 0-0 away from home, which is not a terrible result, considering it was away from home. But still expecting to do better against Copenhagen based on what they've been able to do to this league. They did draw with Porto, but the first time they played Porto, they beat them 5-1. They won their group. And you just see their form over the season. It's been really good. But we are also unbeaten so far in the league. Our only loss, we only have one loss, and it's to Manchester United 5-1. Other than that, all green and yellow. So this has been a very good season for us. My best season here. Hopefully we can cap it off with a win in the league, but also a win in the Champions League. That's the goal. But if we're going to win the league, we kind of need to win this match against Benfica. We have the advantage based on our game in hand, but they're not going to drop many points. So if we drop points here, it's still going to be tough to catch up to them. So we're going full strength. Everyone's available. No suspensions now. Well, Asugo, but who cares? No suspensions. No injuries. Gonzalez is back. He's starting. I had some trouble deciding between Sensi, Gonzalez, and Nunez, which two I was going to start. I ended up going with Gonzalez and Nunez. And no real reason. Just I feel like their performances have been a little bit more consistent maybe than Sensi's. Also, I had a decision between Romagnoli, Inacio, and Ruan. Eventually, I went with Romagnoli and Inacio like I did for that Champions League match. Felt like they did a pretty good job defensively against Bayern Munich, so hopefully they can do it again today against Benfica. Let's win this one for the fans and take us top of the table. This is most likely going to be the toughest test you have in the league this season, so you're going to have to raise your performance levels. But I believe, at our best, we are better than Benfica. But they are ultra-talented as well. So if you want to get a win, it's going to take your best today. First highlight's going to come 8 minutes in. It's going to be our corner. Tabata to the back post, gets headed away, but Gonzalez picks it up. Has a lot of time on the ball to put in a good cross. He can't quite find, I think there was Sesko at the near post, but we retain the ball as well. Paulini gets it, plays to Aguilar, into Nunez. Not a great ball to Bergman Hansen, but he wins the header, but we turn the ball over, and now they look to counter. Darwin looking over the top for Divock Origi, but we cut it out, and we go right back at him. It's a forward and backwards battle right now, and Sesko gets played through. That is a weird highlight. Both teams attacked multiple times, but eventually it's a very good through ball to Benjamin Sesko. Who's that played the ball? I didn't even get to see for sure. Was it Bergman Johannesson? Nope, Sorloth, his strike partner. Plays it through to Sesko. Right foot, bottom corner, good finish. That's the kind of finishing we need in a match away from home against Benfica. 18 minutes in, so far it's all been us. There might be the home side, but we have a chance to make it too, but Gonzalez misses. He's got to be putting that on target. We're going to have another highlight, though. Ooh, and that's a red. Grimaldo is off. Usually it's us getting sent off in big matches, but this time it's Benfica, and they've taken off Origi. Looks like they're only going with one striker up top. So, if we don't win from this position, I'll be very disappointed. A dominant first half performance, 16 shots to 1. Yes, they had a man sent off, but that sending off wasn't until the 20th minute. And prior to the 20th minute, they hadn't done anything. So, a very good first half from us. Even dominated possession. I think I'm actually going to switch to the possession tactic for this second half. This was still using our high-tempo attacking tactic, and we got that kind of possession. It's because we had the extra man, but imagine once we switch to our actual tactic, which is focused on keeping possession, that number might be pretty high by the end of this match. But I want us to take advantage of the match. Don't give Benfica the chance to score. Don't give them the ball, and they can't score. And create a few chances on our own. If we play that slow possession-based, I think it'd be a little bit easier to break them down than it would be trying to play super high tempo, because they're going to play with a low block. They're going to play defensive. So, let's knock the ball around, open them up, score a few more goals. Just because we have an extra player doesn't mean you can let up. Stay focused. Benfica still have really good attacking talent out there. If you give them a chance, they're likely to take it. So maintain your defensive responsibilities. We're going to look to hold on to the ball a little bit more in the second half. Our possession was pretty good in the first half. I want even better. Hold on to the ball. Don't take too many risks and look to frustrate them. We've got an advantage. Let's take advantage of it and score some more goals. They had 2 shots that entire first half. They already have 7 and 2 shots on target. But we got 2 goals. Sesko at the back post scores the goal to give us a little bit of a cushion. We now have a 2-goal advantage and an extra man. Tabata from the corner floats it all the way to the back post. Sesko wins it. Good finish. 2-goal advantage. Now, just need to hold on to the ball and see this game out. And don't keep giving them opportunities. They've got a chance again. Down this right-hand side, Wage, their fullback, plays it back to Savic. Gets it Fernandez. Looks for Bremer. A little bit dangerous passing between their center backs, but they get away with it. Go for the long goal kick, and we're going to win it. Inacio wins it. Sesko heads it down to Sorloth. Tabata through to Pedro Gonzalez, who has a chance. He's going to be a very tight angle. Goes for the chip, and it nearly pulls it off. Hits the post. Good chance. 81st minute. We're going to have another corner. If we can score it again, I'll feel pretty good. And it's going to be a 3-goal advantage. Romagnoli, I didn't really anticipate our goals are going to come from set pieces. But I'll take it. Two corner goals. First by Sesko, then Romagnoli. And surely, that's it. About 89th minute, this is probably the last highlight. It's going to be our throw-in. Aguilar down this right-hand side. Looking to beat his man. We've literally pulled everything back. No pressing. Low intensity. See if we can score another goal with it. No one's really there for the Aguilar ball. No one's really getting forward. We're playing cautious. Just looking to slow things down. Being a little bit safer. Obviously I want to keep the clean sheet. But it might not happen. And if he's onside, it's not going to happen. Darwin Nunez, I think that might be his first real opportunity this game, and he took it. Let's see if he was onside. I think he was. First look, I thought he was on. And he is on. I was going to say, the way he carried the ball up, I figured he was. They get a goal back, but it's a too little, too late. I don't know who was playing him on there. I have to see that again. Because, the defender closest to him he was offside, but there had to be somebody leaving him on. I think it was Bergman Johannesson on first look. Who knows? Can we change the camera so I can actually see? If we go sideline. Oh wait, it's a replay. So it's this one. Sideline. Oh, is it not this one? What is it? Whatever. Who cares? They get a goal back, but I think it was Isaac Bergman Johannesson. It's not going to matter. We're going to win the game. 3-1, looking like the final. A huge win. A little fortunate. They had the sending off, but, we've had a sending off against them like 2 or 3 times already, so it's about time, it happened against them. Deserved the win. They actually had way too much of that in the second half, though. Down a man. They had 12 shots. We had 9. How did they dominate the second half down a man? That's a little annoying. We did actually score 2 goals to their 1, but the performances, I think we got a little bit complacent. I told them not to, but it looks like they did. I'm happy. This isn't an easy rivalry to compete in, so that's a good result. Saying that second half performance wasn't good enough. We might have been more clinical, but you could say they had the better of the chances, and more chances. Down a man. That can't happen. They didn't make us pay today, but on another day, they could have. Against teams of that caliber, I don't care the situation, you cannot switch off like that. That result takes Sporting top of the league. You must be pleased with that so late in the season. I'm not getting ahead of myself. We're in a good position, but it's going to be very hard to stay there at this stage of the competition. You managed to grab the win today against Benfica. What did you make of the game? I'm pleased. It's a result we wanted, and it'll give us a lift for the future, too. Big win. I don't care the situation. That's a big win. Sesko looks like he's about to get a goal bonus, $250K for 25 league goals, and Tabata is 1 assist away from 10 league assists, which would give him $350K. If we weren't in such a good financial position, that might hurt a little bit, but I think we're going to be good. And I'd rather reward those guys for getting those kind of numbers. Sesko gets man of the match as well. 2 goals. He's so good. And he's locked down long term. A 3-year extension, and his contract expires in 2030. So, yeah, he's going to be here for a while. Unless I leave and maybe take him with me. Good results today, though. Got the win against Bayern. I'd like it to be by more, but, you can't be too picky. We got the win against a very good team in the Champions League knockouts, and a massive win in the league against Benfica. Now we just can't slip up against any of these lower teams. We do have Porto in the next league match, so that's going to be tough. But after that, Rio Ave, who have been a decent side the past couple of years, they're in 8th currently. A game we should win. A little bit, a couple tough matches at the end with Portimonense, Belenenses, and Famalicão. We're still in the Taça de Portugal, and I think both Porto, we actually knocked Porto out, so both Porto and Benfica are out of the competition, so we could win it again. In terms of next episode, I think it's pretty obvious. Porto and Bayern Munich, got to come back for those two. Porto match away from home as well, so it's going to be a tough match to win, but one we really need to win if we're going to keep top of the table. And Bayern Munich, I don't want to get knocked out in the first round. I don't want to. I don't care who we're playing. I don't want to be knocked out in the first knockout round. We're better than that, and we need to show it. Hopefully we do. I'll see you then. If you made it this far, why don't you like the video, subscribe, and click the bell. The links to all my socials and my Twitch are in the description. I really appreciate all your support. Thank you all for joining me, and I'll see you next time.